It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show.
Welcome to the Dep Lewis Show, episode 7. This is your host, Dep Lewis, and today is Saturday, November 19th, 2022. Thank you for being here, loyal listener. I really appreciate it. I'm glad to be back here today for another episode. It's been an outstanding week of video games. There's been a whole lot going on. I've been playing a lot. I've been learning a lot. I've been seeing a lot. And I've been anticipating some stuff for next year. So it's a great time to be a video gamer out there. So we're getting closer to some holidays here in the United States. We got Thanksgiving coming up this week. So happy Thanksgiving, early Thanksgiving to everyone. Hope you don't gain 30 pounds while you're eating all the turkey and stuff. But most people are probably getting some time off from work. And that's always good for some video game time. So plenty of stuff to play these days. So happy holidays to everyone out there. And this is episode 7. So it's going to be a great show today. I want to tell everyone what to do because I'm a pretty bossy podcast host. So I want everyone out there to follow the Dep Lewis Show everywhere. You need to like, you need to subscribe, you need to rate, you need to comment, you need to review, you need to turn on notifications, and you need to tell a friend. So please do all of those things and you will be epically rewarded. Out there in the universe. The universe will just conspire to do some great things for you if you go do all those 7 things for me. So please like, subscribe, rate, comment, review, turn on notifications, and tell a friend about the Dep Lewis Show. And if you have any questions or feedback, you can always send those to DepLewisShow@gmail.com. I have that email box open 24/7, 365. You can send an email in there any time of the day you want. It's going to come through. I'm going to be able to pull it up and read it. So DepLewisShow@gmail.com. You can check full episodes of this great, wonderful, amazing, outstanding, earth-shattering, earth-shaking, earth-something-elsing podcast, Dep Lewis Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Patreon, and more on my Buzzsprout page. And if you'd like to subscribe to the Patreon, there's 99 spots left out of the first 100 that can sign up for $1. And this is just a general support tier at this point, so just supporting the Dep Lewis Show and all the great content that I'm putting out. And once we get over that 100, might be another tier. There might be some more surprises out there. So it'd be a great thing to be a part of. The $1 tier will always stay the same price, and you will always get access to all the content that I'm going to put on there. So that's just something to know. So get it while it's hot. Get it while it's hot. And I'd like to say, the one subscriber I have is not myself. You might think it's me. You might think I'm subscribing to myself to look like a big baller over here with one Patreon subscriber, but it's not the case. It's a real human. They've been verified. They're not a robot. I made them pick out 3 taxis in a lineup so they could, or 3 cars or 3 crosswalks and prove they're not a robot. So last thing I wanted to say about housekeeping was I got clips on YouTube and TikTok. So please go check those out and like those too. I really like doing the TikTok clips. They're really fun. I think that's a cool platform to be putting my clips on. So please go follow the TikTok, especially if you're not a podcast listener and you just want some short clips about some video games and see some footage. The TikTok and the YouTube is the best place for that. And I want to get into some notes from last show. Main note to myself that I left in red on here is to sit in my kitchen chair for this. So last week I was in my computer chair. I think that allows for more wiggling and moving and some more parts involved with that chair. So now I'm sitting on a hard kitchen chair for you. So if you say I never sacrificed for you out there, loyal listeners, believe it. I'm sitting here on a Saturday morning, sitting on a hard-ass chair for you. Try to help out the sound quality of this podcast here in this very, very, very expensive studio I'm sitting in. So it's pretty cool. I'm sitting on this nice chair. So some notes from last show. The one thing that you've been all living in anticipation for. No one emailed me. No one looked it up. No one knows. I'm the only one who knows this because I was able to Google it. And I found out about the Call of Duty watch. Of why those Call of Duty soldiers, when they're going on the battlefield blaming people, they got their watch facing towards them. And I found the website. I didn't source the website. I didn't find it. But it could be untrue, but it sounds good to me, so that's what we're going to go with. And they said the reason for the watch facing forward on your left wrist when you're holding your big M4 or whatever is it's going to minimize damage to the watch. Your watch is more prone to damage than when it's worn. Your watch is more prone to damage with the face facing outward, apparently, is what they said. So inside of the wrist is protecting your watch from damage. It also, they say, it improves rifle/gun handling So it says most military personnel are right-handed and wear their watch on the left wrist. Wearing it inside the wrist offers better handling and control to lessen contact with the rifle. So I guess it's just thinking it's getting it out of the way from any like top of your arm exercise things you're doing while you're holding this gun. But I can kind of see what that means. You don't want the big bulky part facing upwards, possibly. If you're putting it lower, it's kind of getting it out of the way. It says it's for better focus. It says the inside of your wrist is less noticeable. It allows you to pay attention to activity at hand, forces you to check it just less randomly. So I don't know if that's really a problem with when you're on the battlefield, if you're just checking your watch because you're bored, because you probably should be worrying about a bullet buzzing by your head or something like that. But that was one of the reasons. And the last thing it says is minimizes reflection. I can kind of get into this because that watch face does be throwing off some reflection sometimes. So it says inside wrist helps stay unidentifiable when it comes to glare. The reflection from a watch can be easy to notice. So I guess the worst case there is that the glare could somehow hit an angle behind you and hit the watch face, and then blame yourself in the face with a reflective blast. But I guess there is some merit to it. It sounds like it's sort of a common thing. I don't know. If you're a soldier out there and you wear a watch, do all soldiers wear watches? What do I know? And who knows? But these are the things that Call of Duty brings up, and I'm assuming if it's in Call of Duty, it has to have some merit to it. But, can't always assume things. You gotta look them up. So that was a note from last show. I finally kind of understand the Call of Duty watch. I don't know if I'm sold. I don't know if I joined up for some Call of Duty in real life. If I was a soldier somehow in another life, I don't know if I'd be rocking my watch like that. It seems a little, I'm not even going to say anything bad because I don't know. It just seems like just a different way. Like, why you trying to change up the game of wearing a watch? But who knows? I don't know shit. So the other thing I wanted to talk about from a note from last show is I noticed that I was using the terms roguelike and roguelite kind of interchangeably, and I was wondering if that was correct. And my research has kind of found out that it is correct. So I'm going to tell you what I found here. I'm just going to tell you these two definitions I found first, and then kind of read you this summary thing I decided on. So roguelike, L-I-K-E, can be classified as a subgenre of role-playing computer games traditionally characterized by a dungeon crawl through procedurally generated levels, turn-based gameplay, grid-based movement, and permanent death of the player character. So that would be a roguelike. And then a roguelite is a subgenre of roguelikes that has most of the game design philosophies of roguelikes, but also has at least one progression element that persists after failure. So that is an interesting point there at the end about the one element that persists after failure, because I believe that's kind of like most of the games that I like a roguelite. Like Spelunky, there's things you can carry over. Well, there's not things you can carry over, but you can also build shortcuts. So does that count as that? Like, you can unlock a shortcut to go farther in the mines or in the world than you could. And then I'm thinking recently of Vampire Survivors. That and Dead Cells, those have elements of upgrade. Can't remember Dead Cells off top, but Vampire Survivors are definitely upgrading your character after you die, which is helping you going into battle. So, that's a progression element, I would say. So, but it does make it sound like these two things are interchangeable a little bit, have some overlap. It sounds like roguelite might be the most subgenre of these subgenres, and that roguelike is the overarching one. But I was deciding that I should probably try to say roguelike for the most part. I read another school of thought that says a roguelike can refer to any game with the procedural elements that will reset your progress completely after each playthrough, whereas a roguelite retains some elements of character progression, such as upgraded stats or unlocked weapons and abilities. So that's kind of what I was just touching on a minute ago. And it brings up the abilities part. So now I'm a little more confused, or maybe I should say roguelite. And I really do think I should. I think roguelite covers most of my games because there is some type of little bit of a progression in them. I guess Spelunky is the one that I'm hanging up on, but I wonder if you can consider like the unlocking the shortcuts to be something like that. But I just thought that was interesting. I caught myself saying each one of those without being purposeful about it. So I wanted to kind of dive into it a little more, and maybe I should. So it'll just help me be a smarter video gamer in the future. And then the last thing I wanted to bring up, and this is more just a note to myself, but also could be helpful to the audience out there, or maybe you have some experience with it. With recently buying Call of Duty, I needed to subscribe to one of the online services because I'm not typically playing multiplayer games on my Xbox and PlayStation 5. So I bought Call of Duty on my PlayStation 5, so I signed up for PS Plus, I believe is what it's called. I've only been using this just for the online access. I believe it's around $10 a month for the subscription. And then I also wanted to sign up for Game Pass. I got $1 for a free month on there. And that has me thinking, if you sign up for Ultimate, you get access to play online. I think Ultimate's like $14.99, so it's a little bit more, $4 or $5 more a month. But you're also getting access to Game Pass, so I'm kind of thinking I should lean towards, if I'm going to play a multiplayer game, I should play it on Xbox, because I could double dip with the Game Pass content, which would be available to me, and then also be able to play online. So that's just something I'm kind of mulling around, thinking of a strategy for like buying things. I'm always trying to think of that kind of stuff because it's fun. Fun trying to think of these things. So I don't know. I thought that was good. I don't know if anyone has any more benefits. I guess PS Plus has some content too, kind of like Game Pass, but most of those Sony games I have, or I would just go ahead and buy. It's not like I'm in a rush to play through these giant Sony AAA games, but this had me thinking. I bought a physical copy of a game this week for my Xbox, and I haven't bought a physical game in a while, so it just had me thinking about some of this stuff, about which systems I should use for things, but just kind of figuring out. Also, when I was going to buy my game at Best Buy, this is a very big shout out to Best Buy. Well, not very big, just $10 big, but I got basically a free $10 coupon from them, and it was something they gave to me. So I got a $10 reward certificate. I used it for an online order, went to pick it up. My order wasn't ready, so I was like, hey, can I just buy this thing already? He cancels my order, cancels my certificate, blah, blah, blah. It was I had to sit there, talk to the guy for a minute. Basically, they gave me he gives me an extra $10 off right there, so I could use it immediately, and then I still got my reward certificate coming back to me. So shout out to Best Buy. It was a great time. I got a Black Friday deal on a video game, so it was already cheap, and then I got $10 off, and then I got another $10 off. So Dep Lewis Show is winning. If you say Dep Lewis Show is not winning, we're winning out there. Got a lot to be thankful for. Thanksgiving table's going to have to hear about that $10 in this mug. But we're here to talk about the main source of content for this podcast, the main thing we like to talk about, the main thing we like to discuss, the main thing we like to do during the week and report on this Dep Lewis Show, our video games. And I'd like to get started off with a game that is the third in a series. It is the best game of the year for 2022 for the Dep Lewis Show. I've been playing the hell out of it. Something just ended last week called a Splatfest. So I finished up the Splatfest last week, and I'd like to announce that my team, Team Grass, the team that's mean and green, it doesn't keep the ink clean, we lost. We got our ass kicked. We got whooped by the Water class. Water won the whole time. Water was leading the projections the whole way. Water stood on top of the mountain. Water is king of the splats. So way to go, Water. Bravo to you. It was really, really tough fight out there, but Water came through. So Grass and Fire, we're sitting there on the bottom of the totem, bottom of the podium. Let's see what my thing said. Do I want to use? No, I don't. I don't know what the hell that thing's doing. Sorry guys about that. My garage band was going crazy. But the Splatfest ended last week. It was very fun. I had nothing but fun with it. I'm glad to have my regular clothes back so I can get the exact perks I want. But I played a good bit of the Splatfest, even though my team lost. And now I'm just back to playing regular Splatoon. I didn't actually play a whole lot this week since I played a good bit last weekend, but I got some matches in this week. And still loving it. Splatoon 3, I got no complaints. It's still very fun. There was actually some announcements during the week that came up for Splatoon 3, so I wanted to bring those to the podcast. This update is supposed to help out during the holiday gatherings, they say. So they're basically saying if you'd like to get away from your family or some holiday things that you don't like doing, that you can play Splatoon. And that's probably some good advice out there, or just some good general advice. But Splatoon is getting a big update, splashing down December 1st. It's dubbed the Chill Season 2022. And the update's adding new weapons, stages, game modes, and a lot more cool clothes and gear to outfit your Octolinks. So I would definitely like a lot of those things, and I would definitely like some more clothes because I'm trying to make my character look cool as possible. Salmon Run game mode is getting a big run game mode. I haven't gotten into Salmon Run yet, but that was something new. And then X battles are arriving. This was related to Anarchy battles and reaching a certain level there first, but just a heads up on those two things. I don't know. I didn't look up the details because they haven't been something modes I've been playing in this game, but I'm sure it's something cool, and people who like those modes, it's probably something fun and interesting. So check it out, December 1st. That's when that new season for Splatoon starts. So that's only, a little short time away. So I'll definitely see myself playing some more Splatoon 3 this week. I'm just playing some turf wars, and I'm trying to get better at it. I feel like I've been kind of in a decent groove with it, so that's been nice for my online splatting. And then the other online game I've been playing on the PlayStation 5 is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Been playing some multiplayer matches of that this week. I've been changing up my playstyle a little bit. I've been using the submachine gun genre now instead of assault rifle, and I've really been liking it. I like the quick handling and aiming down sight and mobility with it. And I've been using it's not called the P90 anymore, but it looks just like the P90 from all the old games. So I think it has 50 in the clip. Makes a nice little kind of like a sputter sound when you're shooting people. It's just not good for hitting people far away, but it's good really in the close corridors and the quick handling. And I think that's something that I prefer in that game. I like to be quick. So maybe you'll catch me playing the submachine gun genre a little more than I have previously. I've always kind of been an assault rifle dude, but I've really been enjoying that weapon, whatever it is. I haven't actually obtained a sight for it, but one of the barrels I got actually had some type of sight on it. So I think that will suffice for my Call of Duty shooting, but we'll see. It'd be cool to unlock some more stuff for that, or maybe even check out some more of the submachine guns. But I'm really liking the P90 or whatever it's called in this game, and I've used the P90 before back in the day. It's one of those Call of Duty games, so it's not a complete surprise. I'm not completely unfamiliar for shooting these people. But I've also been playing some of the sniper, so that's been fun too. And kind of like a thing, I guess just back in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 is when I kind of branched out and played, probably did the P90 and the sniper is what I'm thinking now. And then most of the other Call of Duties, I kind of just stuck to one thing. And it's kind of cool that I'm now getting back into different classes and different styles of playing. So I heard Jeff Gerstmann talking about that when he was playing, and I wasn't consciously trying to do that, but it's kind of how it's working out. And he was saying he had 6 different classes going, trying to play different things, but I'm not even doing it. He was saying he was doing it for challenges, but I'm just doing it because it's kind of fun to switch them up, and I've been having more success with changing my classes depending on the map. So I actually did some sniping, and I have a pistol to back up my sniper, but I've been kind of using the pistol when I'm moving around and running around. So I'm having the pistol out a lot until I'm getting to the snipe spot, and then once I hit the snipe spot, then I'm kind of posting up and trying to get a look on these people so I can take them out. But Call of Duty's been very fun. I can see myself playing this some more this week. I wrote down that my M4 build is feeling kind of slow these days, so I don't know. I've always played the M4. I like the sights on it because I have some type of cool red dot or something like that on there, but it does feel slow. Just it aims down the sight too slow. It makes me move slow. I think if I want to play the M4, I probably need to spec it where it's a little bit quicker with some of the perks. So maybe I can do that. But Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 has been very fun, and it's definitely holding its place on the top 10 list for the Dep Lewis Show 2022. It jumped on there pretty quickly. I don't know where it will land on that list, but it's on there. And then another game that is clearly on the Dep Lewis Show 2022 Game of the Year list. It's going to be on the high end of the list. It's going to be on the top part. It's going to be up there, maybe in the podium, maybe in the gold, silver, or bronze. Probably not the gold because we know who that is, but you never know. It could still there. Crazier things have happened. And that game is Vampire Survivors. I started playing this on the Xbox this week because it's on Game Pass. I got a month of Game Pass for $1, which is amazing. So I said, shit, I'm going to play some Vampire Survivors on a big screen. So I'm playing Vampire Survivors in 4K. It looks so good. It looks so cool on the full screen. It's nice to sit on my couch and play this. I've only been kind of playing at my computer desk with my laptop and my monitor, but it's nice to be sitting at the screen playing this giant game. I've been listening to podcasts while playing it. It's kind of perfect for that. And it's been really, really fun. I've been getting achievements on the Xbox. This is the first game on my profile that I'm getting achievements for it, so that's extra cool too. And I just can't recommend this game enough. Pay the $4.99 or pay for Game Pass. Play this game on whatever platform you can. If you have a Steam Deck, you're extra lucky because that would be a wonderful way to play this. Hopefully we'll see Vampire Survivors come to Switch sometime in 2023. and I'll be paying the $4.99 for it on the Switch whenever it comes out then too. This is a game kind of like Spelunky 2 to me, where you can have this on any platform and it's perfect. So shout out to Vampire Survivors for being a great game, and shout out to me having to restart on the Xbox. And I lost my girl that I was playing with, so now I'm back to the main character, Antonio Belpaese. Belpaese sounds Italian is what I was saying, but Antonio is the first guy, and he's the character that everyone begins with, and the only free character in the game. And his starting weapon is the whip, so he's a little Indiana Jones up there cracking that whip on these mugs. And he starts with plus 20 max health and plus 1 armor. He gains 10% might every 10 levels until level 50. The maximum might gained can only be plus 50%, I think is what it said. And allegedly, this was some lore on the backstory of Antonio Belpaese. Allegedly, his family name and overall design and use of a whip as his primary weapon are all nods to the Belmont family, the clan of vampire slayers known for slaying Dracula several times in the Castlevania series. So, Castlevania series, very popular, very long-lasting, very video game, world-impacting game, Castlevania. So that's cool. So Antonio Belpaese, he's our guy. I've really been liking him, actually. And I've been using the garlic a lot. The garlic, I've really been into the King's Bible. I've been stacking those Bibles up, and they've been smacking these monsters in the face. Showing them what's up, showing them how to get off me, and I'm making some progress. I still haven't gotten to level 20 yet, but this is my third time starting this game or whatever, so I'm getting all my upgrades, and I think I'll be at the second level pretty soon. I haven't unlocked it yet. I have to get to level 20 on the Mad Forest, and I've been consistently getting close to it, I think, but I haven't really been checking. I've just kind of been playing. This game is just so much fun. It's just, I don't know. I was about to call it mindless, but it's not mindless, but you can seriously just play it. It's just fun. It doesn't require too much thinking. It really is just, it's just one note. You're just moving your guy, and there is some strategy to it, and you can strategize with it, but you're just moving your guy, so it just kind of lets you get into a flow state. So it's really nice especially for listening to a podcast or maybe some music. Listening to the game audio is even fine too, but I think just adds another nice layer to it when you're actually, when you have something else going on with it. So I listen to a lot of podcasts. So Vampire Survivors, I'm going to be playing this for a while. Kind of like Splatoon 3, another great game with the sound. Actually, the sound design in that game actually is kind of impressive and better, and the music's cool. I would give it a nod above Vampire Survivors in that aspect, but playing Splatoon 3 with no audio and listening to a podcast and music is perfect too. So I do that a lot as well. But I do like the Splatoon music, and it has some actually like pretty cool stuff. Vampire Survivors is perfectly fine, but I don't know if I would be highlighting any of those parts of it. But Vampire Survivors, shout out to you. I love that it's coming to more platforms. Hope Ponkle or Ponsel is doing great, the developer. So shout out to him. I like calling him Ponkle in my head, so hopefully that's his name, but I guarantee it's not how you pronounce it. And then, what else have I been playing? The last two things I got this week, I just got them yesterday. I got some Black Friday deals on some games, so these were both half price. I got NBA 2K23 and I got Madden 23. So, I'm a big sports fan here on the Dep Lewis Show. We have a bunch of official teams of the show, and I got these games. Basically to make clips out of them. So when I'm talking about sports at the end, I can run some highlights, some clips from it to put on there. So I did that retroactively for the episode last week. I put some clips up yesterday, and it was really fun and just really cool because I'm going to be consistently talking about sports for a little bit at the end. So just thought it would be a good way to highlight that section of the podcast and show it off. So, and I'm a big fan of these sports games. I haven't played them consistently kind of for a while, but back in my younger years, I was buying these games every year and playing the hell out of them. And NBA Live 2003, the one with Jason Kidd on the cover, is probably, I guess it's probably my favorite basketball game of all time, or my most memorable or most played. So I'm just really happy. It's always nice to play these games. It just kind of fluctuates on how much I'll play them, but I'll have a purpose now to play them and get some footage, and that'll be fun. So you'll be seeing some Atlanta Hawks and Carolina Panthers footage on the Dep Lewis Show and on the Dep Lewis Show platforms. And my first thought between these two games is I think the basketball's feeling a little bit better. The controls immediately felt great. Madden gave me a little trouble starting to end of the game. Just kind of annoying some of those times signing in. You got to give them your email, which I understand that's not annoying, but sometimes they'll put you in a game mode that they want you to start playing. and you can just quit it, but it just takes a lot just to get to the main menu sometimes in these games, and it is annoying. But as I was sitting there doing it, I was like, all right, just fucking get through this stuff, and you'll be playing the game, and it'll be set up. But NBA went a little bit smoother, so just shout out to NBA on the front end setup stuff. But I won't be playing those games too consistently unless, just someone wants to play with me, or I'm getting some footage. But it'll be fun to play those games for those times too. So really nice to get those, and really nice to get them on the sale. And like I said earlier, I got that $10 from Best Buy, so shout out to Best Buy. I can now use that on a new game in the future. And there's some stuff out, and there's some stuff I'd like to buy. And there's some sales coming up. I just saw that Sonic Frontiers is going to be on sale starting on the 21st. So we maybe talk about some of that stuff in the next section. On the next section, we're going to talk about what I've been seeing around the video game world. But I want to go ahead and recap the first section here. So that's everything I've been playing this week. I didn't make any God of War progress, but that's still up there in my mind. I know a lot of people are playing Ragnarok, and probably more people are getting closer to the end of Ragnarok these days, but I've been playing a lot of Splatoon 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Vampire Survivors, and I got the sports games this week, so that's what I've been playing here on the Dep Lewis Show, and I can highly endorse and recommend all of those. So we're going to take a quick break for the first time here of the show. This will be the first break, and then we're going to come back here and talk about the video games I've been seeing out there in the world. So make good use of your break here. I'll be right back to you on the other side. Welcome back to the Dep Lewis Show. Thank you for coming back. We're here to talk about some of the things I've been seeing out there in the video game world that interest me. And the first one I'd like to talk about was a release this week. It came out Friday, November 18th, 2022. This game is for all the masters out there. Anyone trying to be the very best, like no one ever was. To catch them is your real test. And that game is the Pocket Monsters Pokemon Violet and Scarlet release. Hooray for these games. They're here. Your Pocket Monsters are here. You can play them. Next gen here. The next generation of Pokemon, next generation of mainline Pokemon is here. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Get them now for $60, $59.99 on the Nintendo Switch. The last one of these games came out in 2019, Pokemon Sword and Shield. And I've learned that Game Freak, the developer, is on a strict 3-year time frame for each of these games, so they're pumping these out every 3 years. Pokemon is what you know it to be. It came out in 1996, as what we discussed last week. It's still kicking today, but this game has some issues. Everyone reviewing or covering this game is talking about the technical issues with this game, and it is very sad. And some people are blaming the Nintendo Switch being long in the tooth, and I think the blame should go more on the developer here, because there are very nice looking games on the Switch. I think if your 3-year time frame is not, if it's not conducive to make a game that runs technically okay, it's not like Pokemon World is looking like Elden Ring out here or anything like that. But so I don't know. I know there's a lot that goes into there's a lot that goes into that. But having a game like Pokemon come out with these tons of technical issues, I don't know if there's something they're going to fix. I don't know if they can. I'm just not sure. It's just kind of crazy that this game is marred with so many issues. It's seeming like I don't know if there's any. I don't think I've heard of any like game ending bugs or like progress stopping bugs. I think it's just really just you're going to be playing this game and it's going to be running like poorly technically the whole time. Your frame rate's going to be stuttering. Your characters look weird. I watched an intro of the game, like it seemed like a main like person talking to you. One of their eyes was all messed up while the other eye looked normal. There's probably just tons of stuff like that in this game. So I don't know if the normal Pokemoning will override the technical aspects, that's the last thing I wonder in my head. Because I would like to buy this. I like to play this. I like Pokemon. But I also don't want to play a game that runs poorly because I have access to tons of other games that run great. So, I don't know. When I was at Best Buy shopping yesterday, I saw people picking this game up while we were there. So, I'm sure it's selling well. I know it had a day one patch, but, all these reviews and everything, they've been talking about the game after that patch. So that patch wasn't changing the world, so I don't know. But that game's out there. I keep flipping and flopping in my head if I would buy Scarlet or Violet. And then now I have the layer of technical problems in there, so I mean, this could be a stay away for the Dep Lewis Show. Maybe I could play this game in the future if it gets updated. I don't know if Game Freak's big into supporting their games like with a technical update. I know they could release DLC, but it'll just be interesting to see how this is handled or if they respond to it or anything like that. Because every single review and every single coverage of this game is just saying they're disappointed. They're basically saying, they love the Pokemon. All the Pokemon looks great. The whole concept of this game seems cool. It's all open world. But it just has too many issues. And everyone's noticing them and everyone's pointing them out. So, I don't know. I don't know if it's something that I should get into, and we'll just see. I'll keep you updated on it. But I at least want to let you know that the brand new Pokemon is here. So, it's a good year for Pokemon releases at least, because the beginning of the year started with Pokemon Arceus or Arceus. And then end of the year here we're getting this Scarlet and Violet, but maybe it's not all it's cracked up to be. So, maybe have a little caution or check out some footage. I was trying to see if Giant Bomb had done a quick look yet, because I wanted to see some gameplay of this game, see how bad it's looking. I've only really seen little short clips of people posting them like on Twitter or whatever, of it not running smoothly, or I've read some articles about it, but I haven't actually seen the kind of glitchy stuff for myself, so I don't know if it's overreaction or not, but I don't know. This might be something I need to pick up and see for myself as we're kind of talking through this, but we'll see. I'll keep you updated on the Pokemons, and maybe it'll be in section 1 next week of something I'm playing, but just wanted you to know about the Pokemons are here, so go be the very best and catch them all. Catch all those motherfuckers. And then another game that came out this week that we've talked about before was Pentimnet, officially released on 11/15. I've listened to Vinny, Brad, and Alex on Nextlander talk about this, and they were very high on this game. It sounds definitely worth $20, and they were saying that as well. They were talking about there's lots of good character building. They didn't expect it to be as complex as it was. They were expecting just a few dialogue choices that are going to shape the progression of the game, but they were saying there was a lot more to it than just that. So the style of this game looks really amazing. I did download it since I have Game Pass, so this is on my list of things to try. I just feel like I have to be kind of in a mood for this game because I have other really, really great games going on right now. And this one just, overall seems a little more subdued, being a RPG and, more of an adventure style game, something I'm not normally playing. So I want to check this out. I will check this out at some point just to see if I can get hooked on it because it looks really cool. But $19.99, or you can, or it's on Game Pass. So this is a Xbox PC release only right now, I believe. So Pentimnet looking really, really cool. I'm sure that's going to be making a lot of people's top 10 lists. Probably, if I'm guessing, just overall percentages is probably going to be on a lot of people's top 10 lists. Probably in the second half of their list, most likely. But Pentimnet looks really cool, and shout out to Obsidian on there. It looks really neat. Another thing that came out this week, or didn't come out this week, but it was an updated version, a PS5 version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. This is a game that came out earlier in the year. That is a new take, like on the Turtles in Time style of game. Beat 'em up for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And it's got an official PS5 version, so I'm sure that version is just looking extra pretty. I don't know if Xbox Series X has an upgraded version yet, but maybe it already does. But I just wanted to highlight that the PS5 version now has the upgraded fidelity or whatever comes along with the PS5 version. I actually downloaded this game through Game Pass since I've re-upped to my Game Pass this month. But I played a little bit of this game before, and I really liked it. I was kicking ass with Donatello. I think I got pretty much most of the way through the main story, but didn't finish it. So this is something that I'd like to finish at some point just to see it through. This seems like a repeatable game that you'd want to play a few times if you were really into it, because it doesn't take you too long to get through the main story. And obviously there's multiple characters, which gives you more incentive to play it again. But I need to at least get through this game once. It would be fun because it wouldn't take too much longer. But that game's really cool. I think that's a game where we're talking about the back end of the list. That could sneak in the back end of my list, of my Game of the Year list, so we'll see. And another release was Call of Duty Warzone 2.0. So that's a huge deal for people that love some free-to-play Call of Duty and some Battle Royale shooting. So that came out 11/16/2022. I believe you can play that on all the different kind of platforms you can get Call of Duty on. And I guess it's probably just a little bit of a separate download or update, but you can get into that new Warzone. I didn't look up any details on what's new with the Warzone 2.0 because I'm not generally into the Battle Royale style of stuff. So there's not a high chance I'll be consistently playing any Warzone, but I could get in there to try it out at some point, or or if I knew someone who wanted to play, I could possibly play some. But definitely wanted to highlight that because Warzone was a huge success when it was first released, and it's nice to see it still being supported and hopefully being updated accordingly, and hopefully progressing and getting better, and hopefully they're consistently just upping their products and giving people a great experience out here. So go check out the Call of Duty Warzone if you'd like to. Regular multiplayer and regular version of that game's been extra fun too. I'd like to definitely recommend that. And the last thing, not the last thing, but something else I saw this week that I'd like to highlight, that is the Dep Lewis Show most anticipated game released right now, and that game is called Fire Emblem Engage. And there was a trailer this week called The Divine Dragon Awakens, and it made me hype as hell. It looks so cool. This game comes out January 20th, 2023. This is going to be a day one purchase, possibly a midnight download. I'm really liking the blue and red haired protagonist. Looks pretty cool. Badass Martha showing up. Oh yeah, the blue and red haired protagonist reminds me of a firecracker popsicle. So that would be, if I was in that game and I wanted to crack on the protagonist, I'd say, hey, what's up, firecracker popsicle hair? So I'm going to keep thinking about that, and I'd like you to too. If you think about those red and blue popsicles that you eat, especially when you're a little kid or by the pool, they remind me of that character's hair. But Fire Emblem Three Houses, the last entry in the Fire Emblem series, was one of my favorite games. One of my favorite games ever. And it really got me into the Fire Emblem series. I'd never been a fan before that. And I love the hell out of that game. So I'm excited for this beyond anything else I can think of right now. Besides possibly like Elder Scrolls 6, which is way in the future. But I am too hyped for this Fire Emblem. There's not too many games that are automatic buys. I like to buy games and stuff, but this is one where I know 100% they're getting my money that day. So Fire Emblem Engage is very cool. If you've never played Fire Emblem Three Houses, you should go play that. Nintendo games don't typically go on sale, but maybe with all these Black Friday sales, and especially with a new release coming out in the series, possibly that old game is getting discounted, and you could play that game today and it would be outstanding. There's different paths you can choose in that game, and there was even a cool DLC path included, or a group included in that too. Towards the end, that was updated, and I kind of always wanted to try that because the faction or the group seemed really cool. But Fire Emblem is very, very neat. I ended up buying, I think it's called Fire Emblem Awakening on my 3DS after completing Three Houses, and I played through most of that. But that's something I need to go back to too, just for my Fire Emblem history. But I'm looking forward to this Engage. That last game I think had some new stuff for Fire Emblem with I think it was called the monastery part, or the part where you're going around making friends with your classmates and kind of that interactivity stuff. More so than just the strategic battles was added in that game. And so I guess Fire Emblem Engage is going to build on that. So I can imagine, that's going to be crazy when this game comes out in January, and it's going to be one of my favorite games of the year, most likely, unless it's just somehow a major, terrible flop surprise or whatever, the opposite of a surprise. But it'll be interesting to have a game come out that early, and I'll be talking about it and probably be highlighting it on my list the whole year. That's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that more than anything in the video game world right now. So go check out that trailer if you're interested, or if you're not, go check it out too, because I'm telling you to do it. And then the last thing I wanted to bring up in this section about what I'm seeing is, when I was looking at the calendar, I was seeing some stuff, and I was trying to decide when the Game of the Year podcast will be. So I decided I'm going to record this on Saturday, December 31st, or Sunday, January 1st. So I have over a month left to finish these up, so it should fall on that weekend for the podcast. If I have to record on the 31st, then that is what it is, but most likely be recording on that January 1st, where the whole year has been completed, and I can officially make no more decisions on the games during that year. I've had my time to play those games. Those games don't exist anymore after January 1. I'm just kidding, but I want to give myself the time to catch up on backlog and play stuff, or play into these new releases coming out that are still remaining. So I just wanted to give you a little teaser on the Game of the Year. Very, very fun to make a list. It's very fun to rank stuff, and this year has provided a lot of great games to rank and talk about and list, so it'll be a perfect time to do the official Dep Lewis Show Game of the Year 2022. So look forward to that coming up soon. it'll be here before we all know it. So get your gaming on and get your ears ready to listen to some cool content. So we're going to take a break here. And when we come back, we're going to do some miscellaneous talk. I got a few things to talk about that are very miscellaneous in the front. And then we're going to do some sports talk. And then we're going to get out of here for another great episode of the Dep Lewis Show. So go take a little break and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the final section of the Dep Lewis Show for this week. Got a few things I want to talk about and bring to your attention this week. And the first one is a book release. It was released on November 15, 2022. It's by an author named Brandon Sanderson, and it's called The Lost Metal. The Wax and Wane train is here, baby, all aboard. Let's hop on that Wax and Wane train. Lost Metal is part of the Mistborn saga. It's official Cosmere of Brandon Sanderson, so he has different series in the official Cosmere, and this is one of them. The original trilogy follows Vin and Kelsier, the Survivor. Love those guys. The first 3 books in this trilogy are they're kind of their own thing. It's Mistborn, The Well of Ascension, and The Hero of Ages. And then the second trilogy is the Wax and Wane series. So this is the 4th book in the Wax and Wane series, 7th in the Mistborn saga. So the Wax and Wane series consists of The Alloy of Law, Shadows of Self, The Bands of Mourning, and now The Lost Metal. So that book showed up this week. I had pre-ordered this thing. I've been waiting all year for this. I've got into some chapters of this book. It's starting off very good. Starts off with Mr. Wayne, the lover of hats, the guy who's really, really cool. And then it gets into Wax. So I'm really excited to read this. I haven't read a Brandon Sanderson release since I binged his whole catalog. I guess it was last year was the end of my binging. I got turned on to Brandon Sanderson and I read all of his books pretty much. So I can't recommend these enough. If you haven't read if you just wanted to get into the Wax and Wane part of this, you could start with The Alloy of Law. But I would highly recommend reading all the books in the Mistborn series, or I would highly recommend reading pretty much anything Brandon Sanderson writes, especially anything in the Cosmere. So I just wanted to shout that out. I bought a hardcover of this book. It looks really cool. I have a pretty neat Brandon Sanderson shelf on my bookshelf. There's actually 2 shelves for all of his books because they're really cool. And I just wanted to come out here and say that's out there. You can go buy a hard copy. I think you can buy a paperback. You can buy a digital copy. Sando likes to sell leather bounds of his books. I don't know if he has one available for this quite yet, but there's tons of leather bounds of his other books out there you can buy that look beautiful on your shelf. So if you want to drop some cash, if you want to read some good books, if you want to be cool like the Dep Lewis Show, go read some Brandon Sanderson. He's awesome. Really, really cool. So you're probably hearing me talking more about that a little bit. I'm going to be consistently reading that and trying to get through it and give you some updates and let you know what I think. I'll talk more about Sanderson later in some later podcasts for sure. I would love to do some ranking of his books and then maybe some of the rank some of the individual series and then rank some overall stuff or just there's a lot to do there. So look forward to that more in the future, and especially if you start reading some yourself out there in the world, then you will enjoy the talk even more. So the last Brandon Sanderson thing I would like to recommend besides the Mistborn, besides all of his other stuff, I would just definitely like to highlight the Stormlight Saga. That's where I started with Brandon Sanderson. That's where I was recommended to start. This probably is the best place to start. And I just wanted to shout out to Calden on here on the podcast. I hope he's out there listening. Calden, if you're listening, man, you're the shit. You're so cool. Can't wait for you in the next Stormlight book. And that's it. So go check that out, please. Another thing that I'm interested in is comedy. And there's a new comedy special out from Neil Brennan. It's called Blocks. These are like emotional blocks, but apparently there are physical blocks on stage to represent that or look cool or something, allegedly. So I haven't actually watched this yet, but I saw Neil on a few different podcasts. He was on Hey Babe with Chrissy Chaos, Chrissy DeStefano. Sal was out, so Neil Brennan was on there, and they had a great episode. They were talking about how this block special is a theme special. So we've seen that twice now recently with Ari Shaffir dropping Jew, which was a special all about Jewish traditions and things like that. And then this new special called Blocks is about the whole theme of these blocks or whatever, apparently. So they were talking about that as he was trying to, Chris Stefano was trying to say, hey, do I need to do a theme special? And Neil was basically telling him, hey, you could, but, maybe your style doesn't. He was telling Chris he has a lot of charisma and that he wouldn't necessarily need to do a theme special, but it's cool to see that they're coming out there. It's just kind of a more purposeful thing. It's nice. It's just nice to have options out there. So if you want to do a theme special, do one. You're obviously seeing some good examples of people enjoying them. So it's just, I think that's a good thing for most people. So that's probably what Chrissy D was thinking when he was listening to this. He's like, hey, just now I know it's, not that he knows it's possible, but he's like, hey, I can do this. I can see how it's done. I can think about what I would want to do, and it's interesting. So I want to go watch that. I have that on my list of things to go watch. I'll probably have seen it by the end of next week, so just wanted to throw it out there. Neil Brennan got a new special out there, so go check that out on Netflix. Go subscribe to Netflix, or if you know someone with a login, maybe borrow it from them so you can watch some Neil Brennan. And now we're going to get into the sports talk of the show. The official Dep Lewis sports section of the show, and the official Dep Lewis NFL team is the Carolina Panthers. This week they got the Baltimore Ravens, on 11/20/22 at 1 o'clock. So be there or be square. We got Baker Mayfield starting, which we'll see how that goes. I'm going to miss PJ, but I'm hoping Baker can kind of come in while the team's grooving a little bit and keep it moving, man. Keep handing that ball off and make smart decisions, and hopefully we can get a dub. We're going to need the defense to step their asses back up, especially against Lamar Jackson. He is a major problem, and I really like Lamar, but I'm not going to like him on Sunday. I don't think we're going to have J.C. Horn, so that's a negative. And another guy we have is DJ Moore, my favorite player. We need to see DJ go off this week. Hoping he can have a big impact on this game. Hoping the defense can step up. Hoping our running game can do okay. And we're going to see. So I'll be there tuned in at 1 o'clock on Sunday to see Carolina Panthers take on the Ravens up in Baltimore. Probably not have the greatest weather, or at least going to be cold, maybe overcast. I don't know if we'll see any snow, but they're moving some games up north because of the snow, because of the anticipated snow. So should be some interesting conditions, and I hope the Panthers will come out on top. So we'll see. And then the official NBA team of the Dep Lewis Show, the Atlanta Hawks. They got they play the Raptors tonight at home, so I'm going to be checking in on some of that game. In the next upcoming week, they got the Cavs, they got the Kings, they got the Rockets, and they got the Heat. I think the Cavs should be the only game that's extra tough for next week, and it's in Cleveland, so I would definitely be checking for that game. The Cavs have an interesting team, especially with Donovan Mitchell now balling so hard on their squad, and they got Garland balling so hard, and they have other pieces. I was even hearing good things about Kevin Love coming off the bench recently. He's had a resurgence, and he's really starring in his role now, so we will see. I think the Hawks should be able to take the Kings, even though I think they're improved. Hawks should be able to take out the Rockets. All they have is some young guns with some potential, but it could be some sky-high potential for a few of them. And then the Heat have been an underperforming team that should be built to win, but I don't think they've been doing so. So it would be a great time for the Hawks to catch them slipping, if you know what I mean. So we'll see. Atlanta Hawks will be checking in on them this week. Great NBA team, and it was fun playing with them in 2K. I'm going to be playing with some Trae Young and DeJounte in 2K, because that's been really fun too. And then the last sports highlight for the week are the Atlanta Braves. The postseason awards have been coming out for different things. Max Fried didn't win the Cy Young. That went to Alcantara from the Marlins, and I guess he deserved it. But Max Fried was the runner-up for that, so shout out to Max. The Braves just signed Matzik to seemed like a very friendly deal to me. I think Matzik might not play next year is what the word is, but this deal will give us him for 2 years for $3 million, I believe is what it was, or 2.8, and then allows for an option on that last year. So it seems fairly inexpensive to keep Matzik, who was a great pitcher for us, and seems like a good clubhouse guy, and just he was a special part of our some of our World Series run, and I hope he gets back healthy and can perform, and I hope he outperforms that money we're paying him, and maybe we'll pay him again. So we'll see. And then they signed Mike Soroka to a 1-year, $2.8 million deal, which seems crazy cheap to me, but that just seems crazy cheap from the standpoint of not looking at his injury. So he's coming off a pretty bad injury. I don't even know if it's guaranteed he'll play next season, win next season. I think it's really, really muddy on that, and just unsure. So I was surprised to see we got him on a 1-year deal. I don't know. I didn't know his contract was up. I didn't look into it as much as I would like to, but he's going to be getting $2.8 million. I don't know how much longer of control we have over him, but I don't expect Mike Soroka, unless it's. I think the percentage is small that he is not going to come back, or that he would lose his stuff. I think if he can come back and be healthy, I think he's going to be perfectly fine and somebody we want to pay, and can be a important part of a team. So I guess this is just like a little bit of a trial run to see how the injuries going. So they must have some beat on how that is progressing, and they're paying him accordingly, I guess, or I hope so. So Alex Anthopoulos we trust. So that's what I'm gonna do. But it'll be interesting to see how some of that stuff plays out. I'm still on the Dansby Swanson watch. I'm still on the shortstop watch. I'm still on the Jacob deGrom watch. So all we can hope for in the winter and the cold season for the baseballs is some free agency stuff, and it's very fun to listen to and check for. So we will be waiting for March for some actual baseball to start, but until then, we will just be watching for the news. So shout out to the Atlanta Braves. Hope you guys are having a great off season. I miss watching you guys ball, and I hope the players on the team get to stay around, and then I hope we get to add some new players too. So that's what I got to say about that. So that is going to wrap up the show for today. This was a wonderful episode. Had a lot of fun doing it. This was episode 7. Next week, we're going to come back for episode 8. And it's going to be after Thanksgiving. I'm probably going to be, weighing a few more pounds. I'll probably have, eaten a lot of dressing, which is the best Thanksgiving food out there. So the official Thanksgiving food of the Dep Lewis Show is going to be dressing. So just so you know that's what I'll be eating. And then I want to tell you a few things to do again, because these are things you always need to do. If you ever see something posted from the Dep Lewis Show, you need to think to yourself, oh my God, I got to do something. And those things are, you need to like, you need to subscribe, you need to rate, you need to comment, you need to review, you need to turn on notifications, and you need to tell a friend about the Dep Lewis Show. It's everywhere you can think of. And email any questions or feedback to DepLewisShow@gmail.com. That email box is always open, it's always ready to receive, it's always there for you. Send anything you want to through to the DepLewisShow@gmail.com. You can get full episodes of this show on Apple Podcast, on Spotify, on YouTube, on Patreon, and more on my Buzzsprout page. Please go subscribe to the Patreon. There's still 99 out of 100 slots remaining on the ground floor tier. That will never change in price, and that will always get you access to any content I post on Patreon. Please go check out my clips on TikTok and YouTube. I got to clip this podcast up after doing it right now, so you'll be seeing some new clips soon. And just thank you for listening. I really, 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 really appreciate you. I hope you have a good week out there in the world. I'm going to be playing some video games this week, and I'm going to be back next week to talk to you about them. So thank you as always. Have a good week out there, and I will see you next time. This was another episode of the Dep Lewis Show, and we'll be back next week for episode 8. So see you then.